What's cooking, Juventus fans? Welcome back to your old lady's favorite YouTube channel. I have crawled out of the depths of my depression following Italy's loss to North Macedonia, sealing their fate, missing another World Cup, another gutless experience overall for the Italian national team, and of course sealing the fate that I will not see Italy play in another World Cup, literally from the span of me being 24 years old until I will at least be 36 the next time. Absolutely ridiculous. That's all I'm going to mention about them. But we've got your news regarding all things Juventus. Obviously, Paulo Nembolo came back out talking about a lot of hot names and young targets that Juventus are looking at for the future. Stick with us. We'll fill you in. Ciao ragazzi, welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. My name is Justin Sofro. Today it's Friday, March 25th, 2022, and of course I have your latest rundown of all things Juventus, all the news that you care about as quickly as possible to get you in and out and about your day. Of course, before we do anything though, you have to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. Let's just jump into it and give you the news as we have it. First up, and we're going to talk about Paulo Nembolo, who had a lot of comments to make about Juventus's upcoming transfer market, and he has a lot of them. He's had some really interesting pieces over the last few months, so when he speaks, we listen. He goes out there to say that the one name is certain, and that is Zaniolo. With or without Dybala, if there's a chance the club will take Zaniolo, if there's a chance the club will take Zaniolo. Offer of 4.2 million euros plus bonuses to reach 5.5 million euros linked to played games. Roma have interest in Rovella, not McKinney. So obviously, we've known Juve have been interested in Zaniolo for a long time, regardless of the injury. I always throw that in there. I know I say it like a broken record each day, every day, but I know I'll get the comments about, Zaniolo's injury prone. We don't need him, yada, 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 whatever. This is what it looks like right now. It looks like Juventus are interested in Zaniolo. And also we're looking at now, Roma may be more interested in bringing in Rovella rather than bringing in Weston McKennie. Now that's an interesting prospect, especially knowing that Allegri is very, he's more, I guess, I don't want to say tied to the hip, but he's much more interested in utilizing and playing McKennie here long-term than maybe bringing in and using Rovella. But I also know that's another young Italian talent. Given the World Cup history, maybe young Italian talent isn't that great. Maybe it doesn't matter. I don't understand. He's a younger player who hasn't had any part in that squad. But at the same time, I'd be interested to see what happens there with Rovella, because I don't know if Juventus would really want to lose Rovella like that. But if he could be used for Zaniolo, we'll see how that. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think it'd be a poor decision by Juventus to end up potentially forfeiting the use of Rovella in a Juventus shirt to get Zaniolo in the long term? Let me know in the comment section down below. All right. Next up, Paulo Nembolo is talking about Antony, saying that the one name that is yet to come out strongly is that of Antony. A scout held talk with his entourage with Ajax. They know of the competition, asking price. In other words, all the information that you want when you are seriously interested in a player. So basically, Juve is slowly starting to creep in to potentially looking at Antony as being an option to bring into Juventus. Do you like the player from Ajax? Let me know in the comment section down below. That's just one of the quick hits that he said about there. We'll see if that continues to develop down the line. Next up, though, Paulo Nembolo. I guess to stop saying that because I'm gonna trip up. He goes on to say there's a new physical and goal scoring player who is back on the radar. His name will come out in a few weeks because the amount for Pogba will not change, and that person is Domini. Oh gosh, you see it. It's right here. It's right here. You can read it. I'm gonna try it. And I'm gonna butcher it, and you're gonna roast me in the comments, and it's fine. Zoboslai, whatever, of Leipzig, younger and easier to get than that of Pogba. I know that was a name. I know a couple people have mentioned him prior, and that they're interested in him and would like to see him come play for Juventus. If we're just going off the name, I'd prefer not. No, I'm kidding. At the same time, yeah, it would not be fun for me to have to pronounce that day in and day out. But if he's a good young player who can be a worthwhile get for Juventus, I don't see any problem with that, with them going for him instead of Pogba, though I'm sure a lot of the Pogba lovers will not love to hear that as well. Continuing on in our news stories, though, we have Paulo Nembolo continuing to bring up more names, and that's, of course, talking about the defender option looking for Juventus. It says the deal for Rudiger is not closed. and it won't be closed, in my opinion, even by the end of April, given Chelsea's current situation. In the meantime, Inter are struggling to sell De Vrij at 25 million euros. They won't sell him easily, so you can keep an eye on Bremer. And we'll talk about Rudiger here in just a second. But as it stands right now, maybe it gives Juventus a little bit, or Juventus fans a little bit more hope there about bringing in Bremer, because I know there's a lot of fans that are high on Bremer. I think Bremer's a really good player. I just don't know what the deal to try to get that done with Torino would look like. If it's even feasible at all, does it include Gatto? Those are some questions we're going to have to ask when it comes to the idea of bringing in Bremer. But when we're talking about Rudiger, and here's the thing, we got to talk about Rudiger. And it's Tudo Sport over here say that Rudiger is asking basically for everything. It says, according to English sources, Rudiger is asking for 10 million euros per season and 30 million euros for the signing. A not so cheap deal. Therefore, Juve continue to look around, even close to home, like Bremer, like we just mentioned. Yeah, at this point, if Rudiger if that is a serious, the amount of money that he's asking, especially when you look at Matthias de Ligt and when you have de Ligt, if he's asking for that kind of money, as Juventus, thanks but no thanks. Good luck. If somebody's willing to pay that for you, you have at it. If Bayern or whoever else wants to go out there and pay that kind of money for you, have at it. I'm not doing it. I do not think that the management, like Arrivabene'S, would go out there and allow that this kind of deal get done. I don't see them tossing that kind of money to sign him, and then 10 million euros per season is ridiculous. I don't think he should be making more than what you'd be paying for Matthias de Ligt, to be honest. All right, next one up, though, and we have, it's a BILD, and I'm not super familiar with the source. Maybe it's just a concentrated version of something that I do know better, and maybe I'm missing on it. But anyway, they're reporting saying that Juventus have Akanji on their radar and could possibly make a move for him. Dortmund are asking for around 30 million euros for the player. So that's another option at the center back position that you could look at for Juventus. Let me know your thoughts on Akanji, if you've seen a lot of his play, if you think he'll be good for the club. Obviously, now you're looking at Rudiger, you got Akanji, you got Bremer. Which one would be your top one? I think for me, if you can get Bremer, I'd like Bremer a lot at the club, but we'll see how that ends up unfolding there. Continuing on, though, we're going to talk about Bernardeschi, of course, my guy Bernardeschi, everybody's favorite player. The real reason that, if we're being honest, that Italy didn't end up winning the World Cup, making it to the World Cup, is because of Bernardeschi, because he wasn't playing yesterday. Gazzetta dello Sport reports saying for Bernardeschi, there may not be an offer from the club or well below the demands of his agent. However, Juve have not called his agent to set up any talks. So it seems like, and thank you for your time here, I guess, Bernardeschi. When I say thank you, I mean, like, what did you really do, right? But anyway, I know people are high on Bernardeschi at some point. But anyway, it looks like Juventus and Arrivabene'S are making these hard, I don't want to say cutthroat decisions, but they're making the serious decisions that need to be made. And this one appears to be that Bernardeschi will see his time end here at Juventus. He's going to be the one to go along with Dybala to be another player to no longer continue for the future at Juventus. What are your thoughts? Are you sad to see Bernardeschi go? Do you think he really should get another year? Let me know. It's going to be an interesting few months or to a year plus, really, seeing these moves that Arrivabene'S making. They're shrewd moves, but I think long term they could really pan out positively for the success of the club. So we'll see how it goes. Next up, of course, speaking of shrewd moves, next up we have is Moise Kean. Tudo Sports reporting that Allegri has appreciated Kean's spirit, but now it's up to the player to earn his spot for next season. So right now, we're really going to see what happens these next few weeks to months to wrap up the season to see if he's going to stay with the club or if Moise Kean's time at Juventus is going to be short-lived and really be a season out. Maybe we'll see if obviously Everton can make a deal where they can cancel out this. Maybe work out a deal with PSG. Maybe Juve can work out a deal with PSG. We'll see what happens there. But as it stands right now, it looks like Moise Kean has a lot of ground to cover before he ends up staying with the club. Continuing on, this is a name, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know this name. I don't have a lot of information on this name. We'll talk about it later during lives and stuff like that, but just throwing this news out there for you guys. And then Giovanni Albanese is reporting that evaluations to reinforce the midfield, another name that you've been interested in, is Orkun Koku of Feyenoord. And I probably butchered that, and I'm sure I did, but that's another name. I can't say that I honestly watched a lot of Feyenoord football. Let's be honest. So that's a name. That's another one to look at for Juventus. I'll go check in on some highlights, see what he really brings to the table there, and see if that's really an option. Maybe, especially now that Gravenberch is off the table, maybe he could be another. I was about to use the dangerous terminology, side piece. And I don't mean side piece like that. I mean a side piece as in an additional midfielder to go along with the big get, i.e. Zaniolo, even Jorginho, Pogba, whoever it will be for this upcoming summer. And then finally, the last bit of news that we have for you today is about Cuadrado and his situation, because the Sport are reporting that Cuadrado has an option that allows him to renew his contract for another season at 5 million euros. He hasn't exercised it yet because he intends to renew for more years. He is willing to accept Juve's lower bid in order to continue his adventure at the club. So good on Cuadrado. He could go there and money grab right now if he wanted to, add another season. But what it looks like he wants to do is he's really committed to wanting to stay with the club as long as he can, which may be good or bad depending on where you sit with this right now, given his recent performance, which has been lackluster for Juventus. Hopefully he can get back to his, when I say winning ways, I mean, actually delivering some really good crosses and, corners and stuff like that, things that I expect from him. But he hasn't done it here in a month or so at least. So we'll see how this pans out. We'll see if it ends up working out with Arrivabene'S actually renewing him for a certain amount of time, or if they're more inclined to be like, you can have another year, but then you got to get out of here. So we'll see how this ends up panning out. But I would say good on Cuadrado for really kind of just showing, hey, I'm willing to take a pay cut if I can stay here and be here at Juventus. So good on him. There's a bit more about caring for the club than you actually care about yourself. Anyway, that's the news that we really have for you today. Let me know your thoughts on all the topics we talked about today. What are your thoughts about the center back position? What do you think about Juventus's move really going younger and trying to cut wages, but then also trying to hopefully build something special for the future? Is Juventus going to be in good hands? Are we going to have a good future when it comes to winning back the Scudetto, competing and seriously competing for the Champions League? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I know a lot of people are probably not high on a lot of Italian gets following the last 24 to 48 hours. So let me know that in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well, and hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. If you want to, make sure you follow Bianconeri Zone at Bianconeri Zone on Twitter and Instagram, as well as Facebook. Make sure you follow Alejandro at AlejandroBZ, follow myself at Justin Sofro, and also follow Julian at Genotti151. We'll see you guys next time. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri.